My dad is, first of all, loving and caring. He is somebody who always thinks of others and people's feelings.
He's willing to do anything for his family members, and the fact that he loves them all, and he really perseveres, and I like that about him.
Grannon is helpful because he cares about his grandchilds and his daughter, son, and another son.
My friends have all said you have a special, relationship with your parents, and Dad is my best friend,
Yeah, I'm gonna always remember that. He's like one of the most outgoing people that I've ever met. Nothing really kind of phases him or stops him. He just kind of keeps going no matter what the situation is.
Granddad's been almost like a second father to me. He's the guy that's been there when my dad and parents haven't been around. He's the guy who's provided rides, provided food, been to my hockey games.
He's very approachable, very likable. Someone I strive to be more like myself too. I would really like to be more like him myself, be more outgoing, more well-spoken.
He's the guy who makes the party more entertaining. He's outgoing, laughable, very charismatic, very good at bullshitting people.
Uncle Al, the kiddie's pal.
Uncle Al, the kiddie's pal, is what we used to call him. He loves people. He's happiest when he's with a group.
I thought he was great, and the reason being that he's so out there. It's like, I want to be there, I want to do what it is that I can do for the seniors.
Great guy, great guy.
Great guy right from the very beginning. Nobody could have better neighbors.
I don't know, we've always had a great friendship before we fell in love, if you want to put it that way. And as I say, I can see him now. When he first asked me to go out with him, I said no. I said, well, you've got another girlfriend, you're going to have to ditch her before you ask me, and which he did. And but as it turned out, I always remember we was outside Al's mum's house, and loved Alan's mum because I've known her since I was 9 years old. And she happened to say to Alan, why didn't you ask Mary to go out with you? And he said, she won't have me. And then I took the opportunity to say, who says she won't? And that's how we got started on our relationship. And it was a wonderful courtship. And they were wonderful years that we were at the club.
I was very lucky. I managed to marry a good woman, And these are things that you take for granted sometimes. But in this day and age, I've been married 60 years, and I consider that my wife's accomplishment, not necessarily mine, because she's put up with me.
I just know I've loved him all my life.
The memories that I remember most are really during going through the war years, really. I mean, as far as watching the dogfights up in the sky, in 41, the German and the English fighters during the Blitz. I remember, as a youngster growing up in the family, there was 10 of us, so, there was some fights, but there were some good times, We were a good family together.
Life changed when we come to Canada. I found it very hard to deal with, but then we were adventurous, and that's something that he's always wanted to do. And we made the best of it, and it was hard. Those first 5 years was very, very difficult. But Alan did have 2 sisters that came out, so that made it really good.
He's been a very big part of our life since we've been here. Yeah, I don't know what it would have been like if he hadn't been in Canada when we came.
We were supposed to do a family photo and my pants were down, and my grandfather's always telling me about pulling up my pants in public and pulling up my pants wherever we are. So he decided instead of me pulling my pants down, he decided he was going to join in with me to try and make me feel embarrassed, but actually worked out to be the opposite. I thought, this is awesome.
So we all got bathing suits on and went into the hot tub, and Al brought out the champagne and we all sat around in the hot tub and brought the new year in.
I'm sure the neighbors must have thought we were crazy.
I just remember this one time he called me Charlie for the first time, because he usually calls people Charlie a lot. And I just laughed so hard. I'm not sure what it was, but Charlie just made me laugh.
And like we had dinner, and I didn't want to eat my like broccoli and like my carrots. So he was like telling me like stuff like you can have night vision or something if you eat your carrots and broccoli.
He's a great one for saying, you know, got it. Just upon a favour. I don't know how many secretarial jobs I got from him, but I was secretary for the seniors, I'm secretary for the 5-pin bowling.
I could always hear my dad screaming across, like whether from the other side of the rink, even sometimes when he was behind the board glass, because I coached at some given point, Colin and Sean, sometimes both, and I could see when they were beside me on the bench, they'd always be looking for their Grand Dan.
I think that helped motivate us to play better, and to know that he's there, and we'd look around to see where he is, and we'd be like, okay, he's over there. So when I'm down that end, I need to be extra good, as opposed to when I'm at the other end. It doesn't matter as much, you know.
He hardly missed it. He was there all the time.
And if you were to ask him about lawn bowling, he thinks it's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Al's pet peeve is we don't have a good bowling green that's in decent driving distance or traveling distance, and then he will tell you all the bowling greens in Etobicoke. He knows them all, and he says, Mississauga 1.
He was teaching me how to drive.
He taught me from my G1 all the way up to my G, the different steps of driving.
Brake, gas, and he'd say, brake, gas, brake, gas.
We'd gone into these houses, and of course they liked the expensive ones that we couldn't afford. So finally Alan said, nobody's getting out of the car, come on Ed. We went into the sales office and he said, what's the cheapest house you've got? And they showed him which plan it was. He tore that out and gave them the rest back. And came out and said to the women in the back of the car, this is the one you're allowed to look at.
We decided that my dad would dress up as Santa, and because I wanted a nice Christmas picture of the kids sitting on Santa's knee. My dad walked in the door with Santa's suit on, and the two of them, they're just staring up at him. And it was one of the best shots that I could have got of the two of them sitting on Santa's knee.
When I was a kid, I used to like banana bread, so my grandfather would bring it over and give it to me. And as I got older, my friends, I used to give it to them and they'd try it. And then eventually I realized the kid offered me, I had no idea who he was, came up and offered me $10 for it. So then I thought, hey, I could make this into a profit.
And he loved to be in charge.
He ran a body shop for a lot of years, but he missed his calling. He should have been a politician.
And he's told me this time and time again, like if he had like a better like education, he'd be running the country and stuff.
You know, I'd have been running this country if I'd have had a decent education.
He thinks he's above and beyond the law, and I often say to him, I'm going to get him a shirt that says I'm Al Ridley and I can say and do whatever I want.
I have been Alan's personal assistant. He thinks so anyway.
You're really going to laugh. At the cottage when we were doing pictures, just when I wasn't laughing, he showed his butt. I'm actually serious.
Me growing up with Granddad, I always like thought he was like Superman almost.
That was the way he operated. If he could help you, you would.
Very generous.
He's a very community-oriented, like the people, when I go out with him to say streets or whatever, the amount of people that actually know him.
I was very impressed with his dedication and his seriousness in what he does. Whether it's having relaxation, playing participating in senior activities, but also when he's on the other side in playing a leadership role.
And he's very involved in the senior games. Took that very seriously and did very, very well.
And in 2006, I won the Bob Secord Award for the Volunteer of the Year for Ontario for the Senior Games, which I thought I was kind of proud of.
When I actually had my babies, it was just such a joyous time, and my dad was so happy for me. And you know, when my kids were little, my dad would come over and look after the babies on his own. And he even changed diapers. It took a lot of energy. And my dad certainly has that even today at 84 years of age.
Mom and Dad have come to a number of my marathons, both locally and in the US. On race day, they would get up early, before the crack of dawn, along with me, and come with me down to the start, cheer me on, and then quickly get in the car and then try to see me elsewhere along the course. I was able to encourage him to do some endurance walking. I was able to finish in time, get to the finish line, and then watch him come in and cheer him on as he came in. And he finished second in his age group. So that was quite a thing. So yeah, he did quite well.
So from my point of view, my kids, go after your dreams. Never stop. Never give in. Never give in. If you've got a goal, go for it, and you'll make it. And I say that to all the friends, and I hope the organisations that I've started or belong to will continue to grow. Who I want to see? My dad. He left too soon, and I can always remember I saw him in the morning, Saturday morning, sitting in the chair. And being 21 and going out to a dance that night, I just didn't really have time for him. And I thought to myself, God, I wish I'd have spent a little bit more time with him. Last time I saw my mother, my words were to her, I'll see you on the other side.
I will miss him very much. I will miss him very much.
I love both of them, and I know where my dad's coming from, and it's just really sad, like, seeing my dad cry, because I've never even seen my dad cry too much either, like, ever.
My best, school friend, he said that and when I told him the news, he said, he said, I don't want to say it's a strange relationship, you have a unique relationship, and he said, I'm so envious.
Thank you so much for being in our lives so much and having so much of an impact on all of us.
I love you. I love you, Dad, with all my heart. That's it. We've always done it together, and that's what I'm going to miss. I'm just going to miss the small things in life, like, should we go out for a coffee, or do I feel like going out to a movie, or just those companionable moments more than the big times, you know. That's what I'm going to miss.
I don't want people to figure this as a wake or a memorial or anything like that. I want them to come and figure out that they've got a chance to put up with me one more time, you know. But, you know, for me to at least acknowledge that they're still there for me and have been all these years. So from that point, yes, my message would be why are we here is to reacquaint ourselves and have a good time.